Well, my next guest is known for riding horseback during the Kentucky Derby coverage and famously interviewing the Derby-winning jockey just minutes after they crossed the finish line. Donna Brothers is back here, returning to the saddle again this weekend for coverage of the Breeders' Cup on the West Coast at Del Mar. And she joins me once again to tell us who to watch for in all these top races. You're heading out tomorrow.
Yes, I head out tomorrow. And gosh, where do we start? So there's 14 races, 212 horses pre-entered into the Breeders' Cup. A record 80 of those horses come from international sources, whether it's Ireland or England or Japan. Japan has a record 19 entries this year in the Breeders' Cup. And so it is truly an international affair. And I do call it the Olympics, as you mentioned earlier, the Olympics of horse racing, because there are so many different categories. So on Friday, which is the first day of the Breeders' Cup, Friday, November 1st, we call that Future Stars Friday because that's all 2-year-old racing. The Juvenile is on that day, and what we do know so far is that whoever wins the Juvenile is going to be the favorite for the Kentucky Derby. But then the following day, we've got the big races with the older horses, including the Distaff, the Classic, the Turf, so many good races. I think it's 5 races on Friday, and then the other 9 races are on Saturday.
It's a monster of 2 days. I'm sure so much information and research goes into preparing for those.
Yeah.
Let's begin
case
with,
in point, here's my Breeders' Cup folder that's got all the different entries in there. So
all the different notes. I mean, let's begin with the Breeders' Cup Classic. $7 million on the line for these horses. The record 19 horses coming in from Japan. Does that kind of bring a little bit of an unknown factor into that big of a race?
Well, especially this year, because you mentioned the horses from Japan. We have 3 horses from Japan in this year. So in this year's Breeders' Cup Classic, one thing that is very unique is all the international participation. Oftentimes, we see the Breeders' Cup Classic as a chance for the best of those 3-year-old colts that we've seen running in the Triple Crown to face up against the older horses that have been running all year, also in the older contest. But this year, not only do we have that, we've got Aidan O'Brien bringing in City of Troy from Ireland.
Like the biggest deal in European racing. Like, this horse has been king of the turf there.
He is the #1 rated horse in Europe, and he's by Justify. So Justify won the Triple Crown.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad in 2018. So you have to think that he's going to run well.
Did they have like some big like rock star send off for City of Troy when the horse shipped over to Del Mar? Like, people lined up to watch the send-off?
Did they?
It was like a rock star.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That's not surprising because he worked in preparation. So he's never run on the dirt. In preparation for the Breeders' Cup.
That's pretty risky, don't you think?
Yes.
I mean, you've been a lot of the European tracks. People may not know they're primarily grass races.
Right, but he did have a work over synthetic surface in Southwell, and 1,500 people showed up to watch him work that day in England. He had 4 of his own stablemates in the starting gate with him. So Aidan O'Brien has started in the Breeders' Cup Classic 17 times. He's never won it. So he's looking to really, pull out all the stops this year, and City of Troy is the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Classic. But
Facing off, you got like one of the Kentucky Derby horses, well, a couple of them that are in that particular race. Forever Young was 3rd.
Correct.
Fierceness not only won. Could this be like a record setter where the Fierceness won the Juvenile last year, coming back to be in the Classic this year?
It would be a first.
That'd be cool.
Yes, and he won the Grade 1 Travers this summer, so he's really on a great trajectory to run his best race on this Saturday. So yeah, it's going to be such a great race. Please don't ask me who I like so far, because I don't know.
You got your book. You can study on the plane.
I have to study.
The Breeders' Cup Distaff gets a big name in the entry of Thorpeda Anna. I'm so in love with this horse, and I feel like it just has really pulled a lot of people that may be on the fringe of horse racing to be supporting. She's just a beast on the track.
Well, speaking of Fierceness, who won the Travers, she ran in the Travers Stakes and was narrowly defeated. So she's really beat up on the girls all year long. So they ran her in a race with the boys, and she was narrowly. In fact, the owner of Fierceness said, "I'm glad Thorpeda Anna is going into the Distaff instead of the Breeders' Cup Classic." But it's almost. Looking ahead, it's almost a given that she's going to win it, because her main competitor would have been an older mare named Idiomatic, and she declined to enter because she had a little slight injury that was just going to put her back enough that they decided to go ahead and retire her and breed her.
The Breeders' Cup Juvenile is a Kentucky Derby race, points on the board. So many of the horses are not only going to be getting the points, but is it also a buzzworthy race? Not only if you win, but these are the top contenders heading into the Kentucky Derby next year?
Absolutely. And the thing about the Breeders' Cup Juvenile is that it's always East Coast versus West Coast. That's the way we think of it. The best horses on the East Coast versus the West Coast. But this year, we have 3 great horses from the East Coast, 2 from here in Kentucky. East Avenue, trained by Brendan Walsh. A horse named Jonathan's Way, who won a race here at Churchill Downs, so he's already got a win over the track. A horse in New York trained by Chad Brown, Chancer McPatrick. And then Japan is bringing horses in again, so 2 horses from Japan. And then you've got all the West Coast horses with Bob Baffert having 3 contenders in there as well.
It's going to be a big weekend. You head out. Your coverage starts, what, Friday?
We start on Friday.
Friday,
yep.
Saturday. You can watch everything on, I feel like it's all over the place.
It's
like
all over
Peacock,
the place.
USA,
NBC for the classic.
NBC, Fanduel TV. There's just so many different ways, I think, to watch and win. And
here's what my
so
recommendation
much. I love
is.
It.
Put Peacock on, the app,
Yeah.
and then watch FanDuel TV,
Yeah.
because you're FanDuel TV
Yes.
part-time. I'm NBC, and you'll catch everything that we do if you do Peacock and FanDuel TV. Peacock on your computer, FanDuel TV on your TV.
Just get overloaded. I'm telling you. I will say, do you have a horse in the Juvenile that you are like, oh my goodness, this horse is just, this is going to be the one to watch going early into the Kentucky Derby?
East Avenue.
Right?
East Avenue,
Same.
yeah, you love him
That
too.
was a powerful
He's
win.
gorgeous, isn't he?
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. And I have, this is one of our Friendiversary weeks. Did you know this?
No.
So when was the last time the Breeders' Cup was at Churchill Downs? Was it like 2011?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. That was when I first met you and interviewed you in the paddock, and our friendship, began.
Yes.
We were talking about Zenyatta.
Yeah.
And I had told you a story that I went to the backside to meet the whole team with Zenyatta. And you and I are both standing there teary-eyed in the paddock. And then afterwards we gave a hug, and I'm like, we're gonna be friends. I just know it.
And I went to go see her the next morning. As you know, she was narrowly beaten in there. I went to go see her the next morning. I got to meet her and feed her carrots. And I still think that she went out perfect, even though she won 19 of 20 starts. That defeat to Blame was actually the best speed figure that she ever ran.
Incredible.
So yes, it was.
That did so much for horse racing, I think, that year. People falling in love with it, and I think the same for Torpedo Anna. Just rooting behind her. So anyway, happy Friendiversary.
Thank you. Same to you. And happy Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, happy Breeders' Cup. Watch all the action on Peacock and FanDuel TV. Once again, the championships are coming up November 1st and 2nd at Del Mar.